Everyone thinks canned food is the first thing to disappear when the power grid fails. Grabbing it first is the biggest mistake in the building. I've been on the ground when the system actually broke. Combat zones, disaster relief, the kind of collapse you don't walk away from unprepared. What I learned is simple. The shelves everyone raids are the wrong shelves. The stuff that keeps a family alive sits in the aisles nobody in a crisis bothers to check. There's one item in the pharmacy aisle that combat medics have relied on since Vietnam, and in a civilian rush, nobody touches it. 11 items, one cart, 6 hours before the shelves are bare. While everyone else is fighting over the last cart of ramen, you'll already be loaded up and gone. I'm Dale Hutchins. I'll take you through all 11 in the order a calm person would grab them, and the pharmacy item lands right in the middle, so stay with me for it. Number 1. Canned food. Yes, the thing the whole store is already stripping bare. Tuna, chili, ravioli, gone inside the first hour. Here's why chasing it is a trap. In a real emergency, your body is not asking for a warm bowl of soup, it's asking for calories, and most canned staples are mostly water. So walk past the wreckage and head to the international aisle. Full-fat canned coconut milk gives you around 600 calories a can, because fat carries 9 calories per gram, while the protein and carbs in that soup carry about 4. Then hit the baking aisle for jarred nut butter and shelf-stable oils. A single jar of peanut butter can run past 3,000 calories. One quiet trip to the shelves nobody is touching, and you have outfueled an entire cart of chicken noodle. The crowd is grabbing what looks like food. You are grabbing what actually keeps a body running. Number 2. Water. And before you say it, yes, this one is obvious too, which is exactly the problem. During Hurricane Harvey, bottled water cleared out in well under 2 hours. You are not winning that foot race, so don't enter it. The real move happens at your house, not at the store. The moment a serious event is announced, fill every container you own from the tap while municipal pressure still holds, because once the pumps lose power, that water is gone. A bathtub holds 60 to 80 gallons on its own. A cheap bathtub bladder, the kind that costs less than a tank of gas, turns that tub into sealed, drinkable storage for a family for a week or more. The people wrestling over 24-packs never think past the shelf. Your biggest reservoir is already plumbed into your bathroom, waiting there for free. Number 3. Batteries. Every hand in that store is reaching for the same wall of AA alkalines. Let them clear it out. You are heading to the electronics section for USB rechargeable lithium cells and a small folding solar panel. The difference matters more than people realize. Alkaline batteries slowly leak and drain themselves on the shelf, and a dead one left in a flashlight can corrode and destroy the device. Lithium cells hold most of their charge for years, shrug off the cold that flattens alkalines, and refill straight from that solar panel or a power bank. So instead of a drawer full of one-use batteries you burn through in 3 days, you build a loop that keeps refilling itself as long as the sun comes up. The battery wall gets stripped in minutes. The shelf 2 aisles over, the one that actually solves the problem, sits full while the panic burns itself out. Number 4. Cooking fuel. This is the one almost everyone forgets until it is too late, and it quietly controls half of your other supplies. Follow the chain. Lose the grid and your stove goes dead. Lose the stove and you cannot boil water. Fail to boil water and you cannot purify it or cook the dry food already sitting in your pantry. A single-burner camp stove costs about $25, and a 4-pack of fuel canisters runs under $10. Together they let you cook, sterilize, and turn questionable water into safe water. Here is the detail the prepper crowd gets wrong. Plain butane sputters and quits once the temperature drops toward 40 degrees. So in cold country, you want propane or an isobutane blend that still fires when it is freezing. Grab the fuel now, because without it, a good chunk of everything else in your cart becomes dead weight you cannot actually use. Number 5. First aid. Bandages and ibuprofen vanish in the first hour and everyone fixates on them. But the item that saves more lives in a long outage is the boring one they walk right past. Anti-diarrheal medicine. In a grid-down world with shaky water and no clean kitchens, stomach illness spreads fast, and the thing that actually kills people is the dehydration it causes, not the bug itself. So grab loperamide, oral rehydration supplies, and a real wound care kit with gauze and medical tape, not just a tin of cartoon character Band-Aids. Buy the largest bottle of ibuprofen on the shelf and a broad antihistamine while you are there, because allergic reactions do not pause for a blackout. No emergency room is taking walk-ins when the lights are out. For a while, you are the closest thing your household has to a medic, so stock like it. Number 6. Fire. The whole store grabs the same 4-pack of disposable lighters, and those work right up until the fuel runs dry or one gets wet and quits on you. Walk to the camping section and pick up a ferrocerium rod instead. A ferro rod throws sparks over 3,000 degrees, works soaking wet, and gives you thousands of strikes before it wears down, so one rod outlives a whole bag of lighters. But a spark is only half of a fire, and this is where beginners get stranded. A spark needs dry tinder to catch, so grab a bag of cotton balls and a small tub of petroleum jelly. Work together, they light instantly off a single spark and burn long enough to catch damp wood. Take the lighters too if they are still hanging there. Just make sure the thing you are betting your warmth on cannot leak, expire, or drown. Now stay with me, because this is the one I promised you. Number 7. Medical superglue. This is the item in the pharmacy aisle that combat medics have carried since Vietnam, and nobody in a panic is reaching for it. Surgeons noticed during that war that a form of cyanoacrylate could hold a wound closed in the field when there was no time and no clean way to stitch, and that discovery grew into the skin adhesives hospitals rely on today. A small tube sits quietly beside the bandages for a couple of dollars. For a clean, shallow cut, medical-grade skin glue can pull the edges together and seal out dirt when a needle and thread simply are not an option. Keep it to minor wounds, never deep or dirty ones, and use the medical version rather than a hardware tube. It also doubles as a repair adhesive, and when supplies run dry, as barter almost no one else thought to stock. 3 jobs from one overlooked tube. If this is already changing how you would walk that store, take a second to subscribe, because I break down a different piece of real-world preparedness every week. Now, number 8. Number 8. Electrolytes. The sports drink shelf turns into a scrum, and most of what is on it is sugar water with a pinch of salt. Skip the brawl and look for oral rehydration salts, the small packets often shelved near the pharmacy or the baby aisle. Here is the part almost nobody knows. There is a specific ratio of sugar to sodium that switches on a pump in the lining of your gut and pulls water into your body far faster than plain water ever could, and the World Health Organization built its rehydration formula around it to stop cholera deaths in the field. That is a clinical tool, not a flavored drink. In a summer blackout with no air conditioning, heat and dehydration can turn dangerous inside a day and deadly inside 2. Those little packets weigh nothing, cost almost nothing, and do the single job that keeps a drained body from slipping over the edge. Grab a fistful while the crowd empties the cooler. Number 9. Water purification. Not the water itself, the thing that makes any water safe to drink. A 1-pound bag of Pool Shock, calcium hypochlorite, costs a few dollars and, mixed correctly, can disinfect thousands of gallons. That is, a scale filters and tiny bottles of drops cannot come close to. It also beats liquid bleach on the shelf because bleach quietly loses strength within about a year, while sealed calcium hypochlorite holds its punch for years. One serious warning, and this part is not optional. The correct dose is tiny, and getting it wrong can genuinely hurt you. So you follow the published EPA and CDC ratios exactly, mixing a weak stock solution first and dosing from that. Store it sealed, dry, and well away from any fuel because it is a strong oxidizer. Handled right, it is the highest value item in your entire cart. The pool aisle stays untouched in a crisis because no one who is panicking is thinking about clean water 3 weeks out. You are. Number 10. Contractor trash bags. The most underrated object in the whole store. Get the heavy 3 mil or 6 mil boxes, not the flimsy kitchen kind, because that thickness is what makes them tools instead of garbage sacks. One box becomes a rain poncho, a ground layer that keeps your body heat off a cold floor, a rip and tape shelter wall, a blackout cover so your lit windows do not advertise that you still have supplies, and a sanitation liner when the toilet stops flushing. Twist one into a rope and it holds weight. Line a shallow pit with one and you can catch rainwater. In disaster zones from Haiti to the Gulf Coast, plain, heavy sheeting and bags are among the first things aid workers beg for because they quietly solve a dozen problems at once. No single piece of fancy gear replaces that range. And while it waits there for the price of a sandwich, the crowd walks right past it. Number 11. Reading glasses and a small magnifying lens. This is your closer, and it is the one that surprises people most. Somewhere past 40, nearly everyone's close-up vision starts to fade, and you cannot whittle a prescription lens out of a stick. When supply chains freeze, a rack of $1 readers becomes something people will trade real value for because there is no improvising your way around failing eyes. That same lens hides a second trick in your pocket. On a sunny day, a magnifier focuses light into a hot point that lights tinder in under a minute, with no fuel and nothing to run out. It also lets you read the fine print on a medicine bottle, a map, or a set of instructions when getting the dose right might be the whole ball game. $1 buys you a fire starter, a barter chip, and working eyes. Last thing in the cart, and maybe the smartest one you will grab all day. So that is the cart the crowd will never think to build, put together calmly while they empty the shelves that were never going to save anyone. I'm Dale Hutchins. If you would rather be the steady one in that aisle than the frightened one, stay close because a new breakdown like this one drops every week, and the next covers the survival gear people throw in the trash that they will be desperate to have back.